Nathan Dyke was the kind of man people prayed for. At just 32 years old, Nathan had built a small tech company in Enugu. Yet Nathan didn't like noise. Despite all his money and success, Nathan remained humble. But there was one thing missing in his life. He met her on a rainy Friday in Lagos. After an event, his friend Kunle dragged him into a boutique to buy shirts. That night, Nathan didn't sleep. She was beautiful, but not just on the outside. As a Lagos native and daughter of the soil, Isabella was the one who planned their first date. Nathan laughed, expecting a fancy restaurant. Her salary wasn't much, but Nathan didn't care. One day, she told him her dream of opening a fashion store. 6 months later, Nathan told his parents about her. Not just any love, he said, but the kind that bridges people, families, and even tribes. He even called Nathan's little niece Princess. Sometimes, Isabella joked that Nathan was lucky to have her. Sometimes she mocked his village accent in front of her friends. Once she laughed and said, "Don't worry, when I marry you, I'll change your wardrobe completely." Nathan laughed too, but it stayed in his chest. One day, he overheard her telling a friend, "Nathan is nice, but I can't wait for him to open a shop for me in Lekki." He told himself it was nothing. So he kept loving her, planning the wedding, dreaming of their future. The proposal was everything Isabella had dreamed of. Nathan took her to a quiet rooftop restaurant in Abuja. He got down on one knee with a velvet ring box in hand. His friends called to celebrate. His mother thanked God. His father nodded and said, "Just make sure she respects our people, and you respect hers too." The traditional engagement was held in Lagos first, to honor Isabella's Yoruba roots. Nathan ensured her family was treated with respect. Her father accepted with a smile. The drummers played, the women danced, and Nathan smiled throughout. Even when he saw that Isabella barely spoke to his mother, even when she hissed as his aunt asked her to greet the elders. When it was time for the ego side, Nathan's family arranged a modest ceremony in Anambra. They invited Isabella's family to the village. His mother cooked bitter leaf soup and ove akwu. But Isabella wasn't impressed. When his cousin Nneka offered her roasted yam, Isabella laughed and said, "Please, I'm not a village girl." Nathan heard it. Isabella insisted the wedding be held in Abuja, not Enugu or Lagos. Nathan agreed to everything. He heard but stayed silent, like he was walking into something he didn't fully understand. Because love makes you believe what you want to believe. The wedding was just one day away. Family, friends, vendors, and church members had all arrived in Abuja. Nathan sat in the lounge with Kunle, reviewing the final checklist. "I just want to see her walk down the aisle and say yes," he said. His mother, Mama Dike, had been going back and forth between Isabella's room and the kitchen staff, trying to help and ensure her people had everything they needed. Every time she looked at Isabella, something felt wrong. When no one was watching, Isabella's face shifted, tired, distant, like someone pretending. She forced her laughter. Later that night, Nathan took fruit and soft drinks to the bridal suite. Downstairs, Kunle was waiting with Suya. "Everything set?" Nathan nodded. They both laughed, but Nathan's mind drifted. He didn't like what he'd heard upstairs, not because the words were awful, but because the laughter felt cruel. Like he was the joke. Still, he told himself, "She loves me. That's what matters." A few hours before the wedding, the church was fully decorated. Nathan stood near the altar, adjusting his collar and smiling at guests. "I need to use the restroom," he whispered to the coordinator and stepped outside. He walked quickly. That's when he heard Isabella's voice, sharp and clear. "Please, let me just enjoy this money first." She laughed again. "His family," her voice trailed off. Nathan stood frozen, his eyes filled with tears. Then he turned and walked away quietly. Behind the flower truck outside the church, Nathan stood alone. The woman he was about to marry had ripped his heart without knowing he was listening. She was marrying him for money. She'd called his family bush people. She planned to divorce him in a year. She still loved her ex. Kunle was silent. Nathan wiped his face. She said all this, Kunle. Kunle nodded. Call it off, he said. Nathan looked down. Her family will act like nothing happened. Kunle didn't reply, just nodded. He walked into the bridal suite smiling at Isabella and her bridesmaids. Just a few shots for the wedding vlog, he said. Pretend you're 1 year into the marriage, living soft life, rich wife vibes. Isabella raised a wine glass and laughed. Kunle laughed with her, but his pocket recorder was already running. The door stayed slightly ajar. Isabella leaned forward, still pretending but saying her truth. She smiled. Nathan is just. Kunle quietly walked away. 30 minutes later, he met Nathan behind the hotel. I got it, he said. Nathan's eyes were tired but clear. Minutes later, his parents came from the side door of the church. Nathan didn't smile. He told them everything. What he heard, what Kunle recorded, what Isabella planned. Mama Dike placed a gentle hand on her husband's shoulder. His father was angry, but he nodded slowly. They listened with quiet strength. You deserve love and respect, his mother said. Nathan didn't cry. He just nodded. Inside, the choir sang as Isabella prepared to walk in. Guests whispered, smiling and lifting their phones. Nathan stood at the altar in a black suit, calm and silent. Only his parents and Kunle knew the truth. Isabella appeared, glowing in her white gown. She walked toward him, holding her bouquet like a queen. Nathan watched, unmoving. The pastor welcomed the crowd and opened his Bible. Excuse me, Nathan said, loud and clear. Isabella glanced at him, confused. Nathan raised his hand, pulled out a small, black speaker. First came laughter. Then Isabella's voice. Clear, mocking, greedy. Her parents turned pale. Isabella froze, wide-eyed. She looked at Nathan, panicking. This, Nathan said steadily, was supposed to be the beginning of something real. He stepped back, then turned and walked down the aisle, head high. His parents followed. Isabella stood alone at the altar. Her friends slowly stepped away. Her parents looked at her without a word. Nathan left the church in silence, shaking his head like trying to erase it all. Outside, he got into his cousin's car. His mother sat beside him, gently holding his hand. His father sat in front, silent. Kunle joined them. Nobody said much, but the silence was full of peace. Pride in how Nathan had walked away with dignity. You did well, his father said later. You told the truth. Nathan nodded slowly. That night, Nathan sat in a guest room, staring at the ceiling. Sometimes that's all a person needs to start again. The room was quiet, but her mind was loud. Isabella's, clips from the wedding, the audio, Nathan's calm walkout. The same women who toasted soft life had vanished. Her father, Chief Adebayo, sat silently in the living room. The tech deal he hoped for, gone. David had pulled out. She opened Nathan's contact. Nathan, please. Nathan, please. Meanwhile, Nathan sat quietly in his cousin's house, scrolling his phone. Kunle watched him carefully. Nathan nodded once. Isabella couldn't hide. Everywhere she went, salon, mall, church, people looked at her differently. Not because of Nathan's money, because of what she'd done. Nathan didn't want to shame her, but somehow, walking away became the loudest voice in the country. Nathan Dyke returned to his life quietly. No drama, no woman on his arm. His tech firm ran smoothly. With the wedding behind him, Nathan took a break. One day, he met someone new. At an orphanage fundraiser. She didn't wear too much makeup. She didn't fake smiles. She laughed like she meant it. Nathan watched how she cared for the kids. "You don't look like someone who belongs here," she teased. "You look like a man meant to run a big meeting in a fancy suit." Nathan smiled. Their friendship grew slowly, naturally. For the first time in a long while, he felt like a man, not a prize. People think love is about a fast heartbeat, but maybe it's about a calm heart. One day, he told his parents about her. "Just be happy," his father said. Love returned, not in fireworks, but in soft whispers. Nathan looked at her, the way her hair curled, how she never pretended. "I like this version too," he said. And Nathan realized what no textbook had taught him. Sometimes heartbreak isn't the end of love. No recordings, no performance, no fake smiles. Just two people growing side by side. If you were in Nathan's shoes, standing heartbroken at the altar with everyone watching, would you still go through with it? Or would you walk away with your dignity? Sometimes peace is louder than love.